Hey guys, welcome to Master Programming Tips and Traps C# programming series. In this video, let's talk about indexers in C#. So what are indexers? Why we need indexers? How to define indexers? So let's get started. So what are indexers? Indexers is a feature in .NET framework. So what does indexer will do is it will allow instances of a class or struct to be indexed like an array. So what does that mean is if we have an array, how we access array elements? By using square brackets. Within the square brackets, we'll be giving which array element we need to access. Similar way, we can access instances of a class like an array by using indexes if we define indexes in a class. So let's see one by one. So here, what does indexer do? Indexers allow instances of a class or struct to be indexed just like arrays. As we discussed, it is one of the features of .NET framework. How do we define an indexer? Indexers are defined by using the keyword this. Where we can define indexers, indexers can be defined at class level, structure level, or at interface level. So indexers can be defined at in any one of the places or all of them. Either I can define at class or struct or at interface. Indexes don't have any name. Indexes are identified by its signature. So what does that mean is since indexes does not have any name, it is identified by its signature is like what type the indexer return or what argument the indexer accepts. There is a signature of the indexer. Indexes can be either one dimensional or two dimensional. Ref and out parameter modifiers are not permitted in indexer. Indexer cannot be declared as static. So indexer should always be a instance member. So that is highlighted in point 6. Indexer is an instance member, so cannot be static. And indexes can be overloaded or indexers can be generic. So indexer can be a generic indexer and we can overload an indexer. So, so I have written the program already, and in this program I have two integer arrays which is private. One array is of type single dimensional and the other array is of type multi-dimensional array. So let's see how to define an indexer. So to create an indexer, what I can do is like you just type ind and press tab twice. So I will repeat, press ind and press tab twice. This is the easy way to create an indexer. So indexers are always created with the keyword this. So indexers don't have any name. And this is the signature of the indexer. So the return type of the indexer is object here, and it accepts one argument which is of type in. and access modifier is public. So access modifiers can be of any valid C# types. Similar way, return type can be any valid C# types as well. Since I'm having uh, integer arrays in my class, I'm changing the return type as int. So I have created one indexer whose return type is int and it accepts one argument. So indexers will have get and set accessors. Get accessor, which will return the value in set accessor, which will set the value to the underlying members of a class. So we will, and indexers can be read and write indexer. Indexers can be read only indexer. Indexer can be write only indexer. So in this example, inside the indexer, I am having get accessor and set accessor. So this indexer is read and write indexer. If I need to have only read indexer, then I need to remove the set accessor. If I want to have only write indexer, I need to remove the get accessor. If the indexer is having only set accessor, then that indexer is called as write only indexer. If the indexer is having only get indexer, then that indexer is called as read only indexer. If the indexer is having both get and set indexer, then that indexer is called as read and write indexers. So indexers can be read only, write only, and read and write indexers. So get accessor is for returning the value for the underlying member variable of a class. Set accessor is for setting the value for underlying member variable of the class. So here I am going to return num index. And in set, what should I do is num index equal to value. So in this class, I have both one-dimensional and multi-dimensional array. We have created an indexer for single-dimensional array. And we have seen indexers can be overloaded. How to overload an indexer? So indexers can be overloaded with different return type. The return type of the indexer can be something like string, float. The return type should be something different, and the argument can be different argument type. This is one way to overload an indexer. Number of arguments and return type will identify that the indexer is overloaded. So here index int index 1. So this is an example of an overloaded indexer. Since I'm having integer multi-dimensional array, my return type for the second indexer is integer, but it takes two arguments. It takes two arguments. Similar way, like this, you can write any number of indexes based on member variables of your class. If I want to write one more indexer, so this is one example to overloading an indexer. So I will remove this one, which is not required as of now. So here what I will do is return num1 index comma index 1. Num1 index comma index 1 equal to value. So we have defined two indexes, one for a single dimensional array and the other for multi-dimensional array. If we go up, indexer is an instance member, so can't be static, as highlighted in point 6. What does that mean? So we cannot declare an indexer as static. So whenever an indexer is declared as static, then you will get an error which says like the modifier static is not valid for this item. So indexers cannot be declared as static, as mentioned in point 6. As mentioned in point 5, we cannot pass indexer argument as ref or out. So if I say ref, then it will give me an error. Ref and out are not valid in this context. So indexer's argument cannot be declared as ref or out. Now go to our main function. Since we have created two indexes, we can go to our main function. Now we have two member variables of this class program. One is num and num1. If I want to access these member variables, so generally what will I do is I'll be creating an instance of the class, then num, then since it is an array, I'll be using indexing operator, the square brackets. Then I'll be specifying which element I need to access. Equal to, if I want to give any value, I'll be giving 9 here. If I want to print the value, so in console.writeLine, so I will be printing the value of that member variable. So this is one way of accessing member variables of a class. Since we have defined an indexer, there is another method to access that value. So how can I access this? Just I can say P of 0. So here P is an object of the class program, and with this object I'm accessing the value of that member variable of that class, which is an integer type. I will build the solution. My build is successful and I am running the solution. So it is 1. So whenever I say P of 0, since we have defined one dimensional indexer, it will access this one dimensional integer array, and 0th element is 1, which is printed in the output. If I want to access multi-dimensional array, we have indexer for this multi-dimensional array. Then how can I access multi-dimensional array is P of 0, 1. My build is succeeded. So it is 20. So P of 0, 1 is, this is 0th row and first column, which is 20. So we cannot declare indexes in a static class. So here I created one static class, and static class name is EX. Inside that static class, I am declaring one indexer. Once I declare an indexer inside the static class, it gives me an error. Cannot declare indexers in a static class. So indexers can be declared only in non-static classes. So we cannot declare an indexer in static class. Similar way, indexers can also be generic. So here I have created one generic class, generic, and this is the, I'm creating one generic array. To declare an generic indexer, the return type should be generic type, and the argument can be of any valid C# types. So here my argument is integer type. So let's see how to create an instance of this generic class here. I'm going to my main method. So gen string object equal to new gen string so we have one generic array inside the generic class. So what I can do is like obj of 0. Since my generic class represents now string type, I am assigning a string value to the generic array. To print this value, cw press tab twice, obj of 0. So I am going to build this solution now. Sorry, we can comment this one. So it is giving the error here. Can comment it. I'm going to build the solution now. So build is successful. So example indexes. So to conclude, so indexes cannot be declared inside a static class. Indexes can be generic, and indexes cannot be declared as static. Ref and out parameters are not allowed in indexes. Hey guys, if you have any doubts, please write your queries in the comment section. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.